You're watching 90s Rock in 9 minutes. I'm Sam Bass, and this is Ashley, and welcome to our podcast. I'm going to be talking about From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah by Nirvana.
What?
The Muddy Banks of the Wishkah.
Okay, Wishkah.
Which that's a great point to bring up to begin with. What is the Wishkah? What is that? Is that some kind of like venereal disease? No. Now, there's two different stories that this could be. I know Kurt Cobain slept under a bridge, supposedly. I know he chilled under a bridge. Mm-hmm. He wrote a song under the bridge, probably under the bridge. And obviously the bridge went over a river. So I don't know if the Wishkah River is that river, or there's another story, Kurt Cobain, his mom threw all his stepdad's guns in a river. And then he was like, got the bright idea to go fish them all out and sell them. And then that could be the Wishkah River too. And he used that money to get a guitar. So the Wishkah River is the river that Kurt Cobain lived next to. He was living underneath a bridge and wrote the song under the bridge. Mm-hmm. And the bridge went over the Wishkah River. So that's where the title comes from. And I think it's a great idea that, first off, this album came out after Kurt Cobain passed away. So he didn't name it. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like, there's a lot to this. Okay, we'll get into it. But the name that it was going to be was Donkey Show. Basically, there was artwork made for this album, and it was going to be called Donkey Show, and then they rethought that. Now, I'm not going to get into what a donkey show is, but I think that was a good idea to not name it Donkey Show.
I don't even know what it is, but
we're just
get some contextual clues.
It's not a show that you would want to go to. It's really not. So, Donkey Show. Why was it even going to be named Donkey Show? It's because Kurt Cobain, I've seen this on bootlegs or concert films.
Yeah, my closer to.
Before, I'm sorry, I'm new to this. Look at the camera. Do I talk to the mic? Do I talk to you?
Mostly me, but
we don't know.
A little mix.
It's a combination. Okay. So, Donkey Show. Why would they even be contemplating naming the album Donkey Show? So, in German, Dankeschön means thank you. And Kurt Cobain on stage, probably in Germany, would just say that to the crowd. He would say Donkey Show because he was making fun of Dankeschön. So he'd play, they'd clap, and then he'd Donkey Show. They don't know that he's just messing with them. But that's the kind of guy he was.
Like, oh, his German's really bad.
Yeah.
That's cute.
He's just American. But what they didn't know was that he was actually saying Donkey Show, which does mean something in English. And we're not going to get into that. So anyway, Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic, they were going to name the album that. But honestly, this record was originally intended to be released on November 1st of 1994. And that was still real early. Kurt Cobain had barely passed away. So it was going to be a double album called Verse, Chorus, Verse. And it was going to have this album on it. And one side was going to be a live record called Donkey Show. And the other side was going to be the what we now know of as MTV Unplugged in New York. But thank God they didn't name it Donkey Show. So this album right here, this little bad puppy right here, was Nirvana's third album to debut at number 1. And I mean, if your lead singer has passed away for 2 years and you're still dropping number 1 hits, that's really impressive. And God rest his soul. We all know what happened to the man. But this is a great tribute and a great time capsule of Nirvana live. Because, I mean, you put it in and the first thing you hear is like just Kurt Cobain just screaming at the top of his lungs. And they're doing some kind of sound check or something. And I actually do remember being, I mean, I was like a freshman in high school when this came out. And I was sitting in the cafeteria. That's where you would chill before class started. And a kid had this. And, or it may have been lunch, I don't remember. But a kid had this CD. And I was like, oh, cool, Nirvana. And from what I remember, he said it sucked. But here's probably why he said that. Because this does not sound like they're recorded, they're, in studio recordings at all. But listening to it now, I mean,
it's a live show, right?
Yeah, it's a live show. And you know what? He changed the lyrics live, which is what they did a lot. And it was a lot raw. You know what I mean? But truth be told, I mean, you already have the studio album. You know how it sounds in the studio. For a band to try to sit there and like make it sound exactly like that, it's boring. You know what I mean?
There's no point to that.
No, they want to get on stage and like just start hammering it out and changing lyrics. See if you're paying attention. Maybe you're so stoned that you don't realize at first, But then you're like, did he just say that? And, there's a song on here, the first one, School, where he usually says you're in high school again. But from what I heard, he started saying you're in night school again and just messing with you, And that spirit, that's the spirit that runs through this album. Like, there's like banter in between songs, stage banter. And they're talking about bootleggers and stuff. And back then that was a big deal. Like for people would record it and then go and sell it. You know bootleggers, right? You know about bootleggers. Not the alcohol. They're bootlegging other things.
Right. I usually hear that with like concert tickets.
They can do that.
Just basically burning a copy or selling what looks like a real thing that's fake.
Well, no, those are called criminals. They're different than bootleggers.
Pirates.
Bootleggers, pirates, same thing, man. I saw Johnny Depp out there bootlegging. Watch out for Amber Heard. So, yeah, the booklet has a lot of little stories behind the songs, There's a story in here about how Kurt Cobain had to take a dump really bad on stage. And, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell, but he actually did crap in his pants in the middle of the song. Yeah, so when you're hearing that particular yell, you know what happened there. It's people literally crapping their pants because they're rocking that hard.
It's pretty grunge.
Yeah, that is really grunge. So they tried to make it very accurate to if you went to a Nirvana show. So this is literally like if you showed up a little bit early to a Nirvana show, you heard Kurt screaming for the sound check, and then they just started rocking your balls all the way up your bunghole. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you think we got 9 minutes? So this was another episode, the first episode of 90s Rock in 9 minutes.